You good?
Yeah.
That's what we
Sure.
use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I already feel like I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys ready? What do you remember most about Kyra Hayes?
Her smile, her laugh.
Her laugh.
Yeah. Her weird stories that made absolutely no sense.
Well, Kyra was always just so outgoing, and she made sure everyone was welcome. And like she knew, like if you're having a bad day, she'd just come up and say hi to you and just make your day. And you'd smile and be like, "Wow, she's so nice."
She was friends with like literally everybody. Like, everybody knew who she was, and I know our town's small, like our grade's small and everything, but she was one of those people that was just so friendly to everybody that everyone knew who she was and everyone wanted to know her.
I remember her just like always kind of having a smile on her face, even if she wasn't the happiest. She always put forth a good attitude for the people.
And she was nice to everybody, not just herself.
I actually remember how funny she was. Like every time I was around her, she always made me laugh.
Yeah, she'd make a lot of jokes.
Having design class with her, and she was really talented and made this awesome Albert Einstein project, and it took her a really long time, and she like worked on it all the time. She'd always talk about it, and she loved it. I don't know who has it or what, but it's probably one of the most memorable things.
She was always happy, faithful, and she never had a negative mind. She always was positive, and she's just so happy and, you know, bubbly, I guess.
She just was popular in the sense that she just had a lot of people that cared about her and liked her. She was a likable kid, because not everyone is likable here, as you know.
I remember her just always being very caring and loving and also sassy at the same time.
She was just like, I don't know, she was so radiant. You could feel it like throughout the room. It was something that she was a very open person. Everyone knew that, you know, they could go to her if they needed, and it was, I think, a really powerful thing when she was there.
What 3 words would you use to describe Kyra?
Loving, compassionate, and amazing.
Bubbly, bright, and beautiful.
Funny.
Sweet and caring.
Strong. I'd say strong because she was so strong in her faith, and I admired that so much. I'd have to say kind and outgoing. She was just very sweet with anyone. She didn't have any preference.
She's driven. She's curious. And I think she had a good sense of humor. Yeah.
Animated. Very smart. And and gosh, I don't know. She was always really motivated, like she helped you through a lot of stuff.
I would say hopeful, confident, and respectful.
I'd say kind, thoughtful, faithful.
She was funny. Like, whenever I'd see her in the hallway, she was always laughing or talking with her friends, and she was extremely.
She just always seemed to have a smile on her face.
Yeah, she was extremely caring, and she was lovable too.
Well, bubbly, faithful, and kind. Very kind.
Really kind.
Kind.
I would definitely use kind.
Kind.
I'd say kind.
Kind.
Kind. Kind. Just so kind to everybody. On October 21st, 2016, where and when did you hear the news about Kyra?
Well, unfortunately, I get contacted by law enforcement if there's something involving our students. So I got a text first from Chris Dice, and then I got a text. Started getting messages from the sheriff or communicating with the sheriff's department, and so unfortunately I heard, you know, within a few minutes of the accident what was going on. So that's that. So I was at home, and then I went up to school, and we started making phone calls to everybody. And
my mom and I were on our way to Verizon because my phone was being stupid, and so we drove to River Falls, and we were sitting in front of the Verizon store, and I was actually driving, and my mom was with me, so I got a Snapchat asking if I knew where Kyra was and if I had heard what had happened, and I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, and they said, I heard that Kyra got in an accident and died, and so I was freaking out, and after that, her mom called my mom and told my mom that Kyra had passed away, that she'd been in a car accident and she had died, and so that's where I found out.
I was bow hunting. Yep. I was bow hunting, and well, Brooke called me about 9 times. Brianna called me about 9 times too, and I just told Logan I was hunting with Logan, and he said, I'm like, Logan, I gotta go. He asked why, and I said, Kyra got in a car accident and died.
Caleb later picked me up and took me to Brooks in full camo because he was hunting, and he went to Brooks, and a lot of us met up at Brooks and kind of just cried it out and talked it out, and yeah, so I found out from Luke.
I was home by that point and sitting in my living room, and I got a phone call. And I remember, exactly where I was and how it was like, whoa. I mean, it just, one of those things that the reality of it is so much different than even thinking what you would do if something like that were to happen. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, immediately, I guess, met with feelings of grief and frustration, but mostly at that point, it was just questions. Just what had happened, why, what's going on here, how could this be? And then I think slowly then it moved more towards just sadness after you find out all the details. It's like, yeah.
I had just moved into my new house, and Sydney was actually with me, and like I said, my sister's really we're close with the Hayes family in general, so Ethan we got called first, and he told us before he told anyone else. And she was with me. Yeah.
Well, I was at Perkins at the time with Chase, Kylie, and Olivia Carlson. We were on our way to a haunted house, and we stopped at Perkins to eat before, and we were just eating, having a good time, and then Ethan called Chase.
And I got a text from Ethan asking, can you talk right now? I have something really important to say. And I was like, and I just didn't think anything about it, so I was just nonchalantly like, oh, no, I'm kind of doing something right now. And then, yeah, because we were eating, and I was like, and then he just texted again, and I was like, just didn't really say anything about it. And then he called me, and he called me and told me what happened, and he could barely get the words out. And at first I didn't know how to respond, because you don't really know how to respond to that. And so I was just like, oh, I'm really sorry, Ethan. I'm here for you if you need to talk to me. And because at first it didn't even really seem real, because it's just so out of the blue. And then I just didn't know how to tell everybody else, because they definitely...
We were all asking by then what was the matter, because Chase was really upset and he started crying, and we didn't know what was going on, and so we were all just, Chase, what's wrong? And
at first we just really didn't believe it, and we just were like, no, this can't be it. And then we figured out it was really it, and we all went home that night and just kind of...
The car ride was just silent. we were just like, you could hear, like, people would sniffle and start crying again, and then it would like dull down for a little bit, and then someone like would say something, and we all start, because we were just remembering everything, and it was, and then I went home, and I walked in my door, and my mom looked at me, and she goes, "Kylie, what's wrong?" And I like yelled because I couldn't, like, I had a really hard time saying it, but I told my mom, and she just hugged me, and we all went into a group hug, and it was just,
Oh, it's hard.
it was really hard. It's the hardest thing I've been through ever, I think, so.
I got the text from my boyfriend Jacob, and he told me, I couldn't believe it, so I'm going to tell the story of the wake. I was with Maddie all day that day, thank goodness for her, and that's the day I remember most about Kyra. I wasn't the closest with her, so, but when we walked into that church, the first thing you saw was pictures of everything. And it was pictures of her when she was little and full of life, and you had the pictures of her in sports on the volleyball team, and you had her in the drama club with everybody. And then once you get past the pictures, you get to her mom and dad, and all you could tell them is, "I'm sorry." And once you get past the parents and the family, you get to see her, and that's the moment I believe she was gone. Me and Maddie stood there for like at least a minute. It was so hard.
If you were with Kyra right now, what do you think she would say to you?
Stop being so hard on yourself.
Get your life together, figure it out.
And if you could tell her something right now, what would you tell her?
I love you.
I'm sorry. I just feel like I could have been there more.
I guess just that I wish that she was here to be with us, you know. Help us graduate and keep going.
Tell her that I love her and that I miss her a lot and that this world is way different without her here.
I tell her how much we all miss her and how much she's kind of needed today. And just that I love her.
I would tell her that I miss her. And just miss her hearing her voice and missing all the jokes that she said.
What would you tell her family and loved ones?
That she was a great person. She will be remembered always as a great person. I could think nothing wrong of her, and that she is admired by many, and that they should really be proud of what a strong girl they had.
That I think that Kyra mattered, that she was somebody who made an impact, and you know, I think of her when I drive by the spot, and my kids were, you know, it was hard for, I think, a lot of people in the community, even people that didn't know her very well, because she touched a lot of people, and she was great with little kids. I would walk by that, there was a picture of her down in the hallway last year. Okay, you know, I'm a crier. All right. But you know, there was a picture of her working, I think, at Vacation Bible School or something, and she just had a lot of joy to her, and a lot of, she was just fun to be around, and so, you know, she mattered. She made an impression on us, and we'll remember her for a long time.
I love you. Keep smiling, stay strong, because it doesn't get better, but it gets better.
Keep feeding her pig bacon.
I think she's just had a profound impact on kind of how we think and how we kind of treat each other. I think that that's been kind of cool. That people have kind of rallied around her spirit and who she was and what she was about as a person. So I think that that's that people haven't forgotten who she is and what she stood for, and I think that that's pretty powerful.
Probably nothing that they haven't heard a million times before, but just her unique view on the world was incredible. I think that you can say as much as you want, and it would be true, that she's enthusiastic, that she's caring, that she's loving, that she's all those things. But just the creativity with which she actually thought, like her thinking process and the way that she sees the world, and it just, all of that was so different, but in the best way. Like, just she wondered, she was curious. Yeah, just that they were the reason for that. They were the reason that she developed into such a curious and a person who loved learning so much, and that's a huge compliment.
Probably that I'm very sorry for Kyra, for your family. I do miss Kyra. She was a friend of mine, and that she's in a great place now. That's what to say.
I don't think there's anything I could specifically say that no one's said before, but I'd always say sorry and that she was a great person, and that I couldn't understand what they're going through.
She's always here.
But I love you